with what I thought would be a fantastic cooking and shopping tip for you today. Reading food labels. When I first looked at one of these suckers, I thought, I am clueless. What? I have no idea what this means. However, my colleague Jeff Novick gave me a couple of tips that would help me read food labels. So I'm going to base what I'm saying today on those tips from Jeff. What I really want to convey to you is how to choose foods that work for you. I want your foods to do what you want them to do, and have no illusions that foods are doing things that they are not doing. For example, my Friday night martini. I am under absolutely no illusion that my Friday night martini makes me smarter, prettier, or is going to help me win the Nobel Peace Prize. It simply separates the week from the weekend for me. On the same vein, if I was a diabetic or if I was doing weight management, I would want to look at a label and very quickly be able to tell about the fat content of it. Is this a low-fat food or a high-fat food? If I had hypertension and blood pressure issues, I would want to know, oh, is this high in sodium or low in sodium? The things I'm going to show you are going to help you figure out what kind of things are in this food and how the food label can actually help you. And so, let's get started.
Hello everyone, LaDiva here, and welcome to Fast Food Labels. We're not going to talk about fast food. We're going to talk about a fast way to read the food labels. And I only have one shot at recording this. So here we go, kids. It's going to be a bumpy night. So what's a food label? It's a nutrition label. That's the more specific name. And everybody's seen them. They look like this. What do you really need to know? Well, this is what I think you really need to know. Serving size and servings per container. This sounds like a lot, but trust me, it makes sense once you get it all together. Calories per serving and fat from calories, the fat and type of grams, sodium. I'm not that worried about sugar, but I'm going to give you a note on it. And then fiber. That's the stuff that I really think you need to know about. Now, serving size. Let's talk about that. Serving size is the first thing that's on the label. So it's right there. And you see the serving size of this is a teaspoon. And some serving sizes are really, really crazy. Servings per container. They're found just under the serving size. See that? This container has 8 servings in it, just so you know. Sodas have 2.5 servings in them. A lot of people think those 20-ounce bottles, what's on the side, is just for 1 serving, but that's actually 2.5 servings. So that's for 2.5 people. I don't know who the half person is, but that's who it's for. Also, these chips and those little bags, those little snack bags, some of them are on the label are for 2 servings. So you need to look at how many servings. When I have a bag of chips, I eat the whole bag, which is why I don't buy them anymore, because I'll eat the whole bag. It's one of my trigger foods. Just so you know, snacks should be about 100 calories. Your main courses or meals should be anywhere from 350 to 500 calories depending on your size. And like a 5'1" woman is going to go towards the 350, 6'3" guy, around 500. Raw fruits and veggies, as much as you want, except if you're trying to lose weight. If you're trying to lose weight, watermelon and pineapple got to come off your plate until you reach your goal weight. They just work differently. That's it. For the rest of us, you just eat as much pineapple and watermelon as you want. Calories per serving. And there it is. The only thing you need to really look at calories per serving is to realize if you have more than 1 serving. So if you look and you see the serving size and you think, are you kidding? I always eat 2 of those. Then whatever you're looking at, whatever piece of information, you got to multiply it by whatever. So if something says that this says it's 137 calories, but you ate 2 servings, then you're really eating 274 calories. Calories from fat. Now, whether you're doing weight management or not, basically you want calories from fat, which is to the right of the calories per serving, there you go, to be about 20%. That's really all the fat that you need. And so I'm going to show you an easy way to figure that out. Now, let's say that this food was 100 calories, right? What does that mean, that 20%? Well, that means that if it was 100 calories, then 10% would be 10 calories. And if you multiplied that by 2, you'd end up with 20 calories. So if it's a 100-calorie food, 20% would be 20 calories. So it should have no more than 20 calories from fat. Okay? Does that make sense? Let's look at a real example of this. So here we have our calories from fat, and they are 58 for this food. Our calories, look over on the left, our calories are 137. So what I did, I told you to drop the number, but I just rounded it up to 14. That's all I did. I rounded 13.7 up to 14. And so that's 10% of this 137. And then I multiplied that by 2. So 14 times 2 is 28. So the calories from fat for this should be no more than 28, but it happens to be 58, which makes this a high-fat food. Fat types and grams. Here's our example. Here's where you find your fat. And you notice they have total fat, saturated fat, and trans fat. For those of you who are on a weight loss regime, total fat should be about 3 grams or less per serving. That's a really good amount. Saturated fat clogs your arteries, and so that should really be kept at 0. Now cholesterol, that's going to be right below it. And cholesterol really hardens your arteries, so that should really be 0 also. And trans fats are absolutely the worst, and they should be 0. All right, for those of us who are maintaining weight, if you're fine, that's great. Shoot for 3 grams anyway, but don't really worry if it's just a little bit higher, okay? But I shoot for about 3 grams of fat per serving from stuff. So, and that's kind of an okay number. However, the rest of this stuff is all the same. Saturated fat clogs your arteries just as much as anybody else's, and it should be 0. And when you think about saturated fat, I want you to think of butter. Cholesterol hardens your arteries just as much as everybody else and should be at 0. Now, when you think of cholesterol, I want you to think of wax, because cholesterol is classified as a wax. So think of a candle, 98.6 degrees. We know that when candles get hot, they get sticky, which you need a little bit of cholesterol in your body. Your body makes all the cholesterol that you need. You don't need extra. And that wax it drops stuff off and it picks stuff up, which is really helpful. But imagine if you were eating a lot of cholesterol and you've got the sticky stuff, and that's what leads to hardening of the arteries. So that's why we don't want it. Trans fats are the worst for everybody and should still be 0. There you go. Okay, sodium. This is a really easy one. Here you go. Here's sodium. It's a little bit further down the line there. And sodium should equal calories per serving. Okay, so this item is just over 1/3 of the recommended daily amount of sodium that you should have. And that amount is 1,500 milligrams. Sugar, I'm really not that bent out of shape about sugar. I know people are, but I find that when you are looking for the grams of fat and fiber in your food, the sugar tends to be minimal. That's where you find it. And my rule of thumb is sugar sweeteners, evaporated cane juice, brown rice syrup, agave nectar, whatever you want to call them, should not be in the top 4 ingredients. And now that's not for dessert, but that's for a regular food that you're, chowing down on. And even the sugars in my cereal, I try to keep under 10 grams per serving. All right, fiber. And fiber, you need 35 to 40 grams a day. You don't need to memorize that, but people ask me all the time how much fiber they need. That's basically what you need. So you want to shoot for products with at least 3 or 4 grams per serving, because if you are eating fresh vegetables and fruits all day, and then you're having a couple of different items that come from cans or boxes, you should be okay. So don't sweat it. Eat plant foods, and you really are not going to have any trouble. Now on to part 2, review.